Move! Quickly! Quickly! Jump! Quickly! Quickly! Don't joke to M23, my bro. Don't joke. That is army for the people. Don't joke. You're fighting for the money. You're fighting for our life. Quickly! Hey! Quickly!
Our objective is to go to Kinshasa because we have a vision for the people of DRC.
Strong words of determination from the leader of the M23 rebel group at a volatile time. With Goma, the biggest city in eastern Congo, already in their control, the M23, largely composed of the marginalized Tutsi tribe, have exhibited resolve to their goals. Founded in 2012 after a failed peace deal between the government of Kinshasa and marginalized Tutsi minorities of eastern Congo, the rebel group had for long not attracted much attention on the global stage, not till recently when they captured Goma, the capital of North Kivu province. Whereas world powers and regional players thought the M23 had finally achieved their ultimate goal, the group now says its agenda is to topple the government of Kinshasa.
Our objective is to go to Kinshasa because we have a vision for the people of DRC. Looking at the way that the insecurity has eastern part of Congo, we have to sort it out. And what is the reason of the insecurity? The first reason is the failure of state in DRC. It's a failure of state that is putting all the people come in DRC, the negative forces like ADF, like the FDLR, and they are now a threat against our neighbors, but also a threat against our population. I also mentioned that the bad governance of the Kinshasa regime, putting opposition party either in jail or exile, even killing some of them. Today, I say we have about 100 political leaders, personality in exile.
The Kinshasa government claims the fall of Goma was only tactical to avoid loss of life and a messy situation as they prepare to defeat the M23. What possibility is there that the M23 will topple the regime in Kinshasa? To answer this question, a list of important sub-questions must be asked, including: what is the international understanding of the M23 conflict? How prepared is the Congolese army to tackle the situation? What is the motivation behind the M23 offensive? And what is the M23's level of political maturity at the world stage? It is very clear that the international players trying to contain the situation in the eastern DRC have no understanding of what they are trying to solve. Other than pointing fingers and accusing Rwanda for backing the M23, an accusation that President Kagame has always refuted, they refuse to recognize the fact that the M23 movement is a symptom of Congo's unresolved political mess.
The government forces and their allies, the Wazalendo militias, were ordered actually to surrender to MONUSCO, which they did. This situation could have been avoided. You have seen several dead bodies of massacres taking place in different parts of that region. They are not different from what the ADF was doing in Ituri. Now, if you are a population, you either accept to be slaughtered by like chicken, or you take up arms and defend yourselves. And it's a consistent narrative. There have been repeated genocides against one ethnic group in this particular region. In fact, idea after the 1994 Rwanda genocide, the talk was never again.
The conflict that was created from the time we had the East African community get involved in trying to help in Congo, and later on when the East African force was trying its best and we are seeing progress, Tshisekedi decided they are not doing what he wanted and went to SADC. SADC agreed they would come and do what he wanted, and sent everybody packing. And that we complied and kept quiet. What really did we expect to come out of this?
Responding to the fall of Goma, the chairperson of the East African Community, President William Ruto, called for an end to hostilities while convening the meeting of heads of states in 48 hours. And what happens during this meeting will shock you. President Tshisekedi, who had earlier confirmed attendance, was absent, and this was what Rwanda had to say.
By the way, even now the person or the country we are talking about is not represented as we are discussing. And it is supposed to be, the country is supposed to be part of East Africa, but nowhere to be represented. So I'm not sure what bearing what we are discussing has on what happens in the process of finding a solution in this country. For the last 2 days, on Monday and today this morning, I spoke with the President of South Africa, who sought me out to speak with me on this matter because of their involvement in Eastern Congo. And he's also there pretending to be playing a peacemaker role. And he has a force that has been fighting alongside FDLR and has been fighting the M23 on the instructions of Tshisekedi, because these are people who are not supposed to be in Congo, that these are from Rwanda, or the M23 are not Rwandans, please. These are Congolese, and one time he accepts it, then another time he says no, part of it is yes, and then the other part is from Rwanda, and these are he keeps on going. And how do we, leaders of our own countries, accept this to go on forever and just accept that we shall be manipulated by Tshisekedi or whoever is supporting him? And South Africa dares even issue threats about what is likely to happen after that, and so on and so forth. Of course, we will see what threats they are talking about.
This is not very different from what the leader of M23 said in an exclusive interview.
When you say Rwanda is supporting you, Rwanda is supporting you, Rwanda is supporting you, this is one of the Kinshasa propaganda to hide the bad governance has been doing so far. You know, in Kinshasa today is the very, when you look at the city, when you look at the people, anger, no food, no education, no water. All this for Kinshasa, they say, is just because of one. I think the good question is to know how many countries are in Congo today. Uganda is in Congo, dealing with Tshisekedi because they have this joint mission. Yes. And they're in Beni and no one is talking about it. And they say that they are there because they are fighting against ADF. Burundi is in Congo. These are the people we have been fighting in Goma and up to now. They are still deploying other people. I can say that Malawi, they are in Congo. South Africans, they are in Congo. Tanzanians, they are in Congo. You have European mercenaries, more than 1,000 or 2,000. They were in Congo because they are being defeated now. When you look at the MONUSCO contingencies, you have about 10 or even more citizenship. They are all in Congo. All those countries are in Congo. And they are saying that we are Rwanda, just because some of us speak the same language like Rwanda. It's a bad question. We are Congolese. And the question might be, who should be, what are those people doing in Congo? You know the reason?
I don't.
The reason is because there is a failure of state.
President Tshisekedi's decision to dismiss the East African Community Regional Force from Congo, on grounds that they were not fighting the M23, highlighted lack of commitment on the Kinshasa government to find a lasting political solution to the problem. Rather, the Kinshasa regime replaced the stabilization force with the South African forces and dozens of other mercenary groups that were willing to fight alongside the Congolese forces, hoping to suppress the resolve of the M23.
He didn't want East African community because they were not doing things the way he wanted, even if it was not right. He got rid of them and he decided to bring in SADC. SADC was, without any question, coming to assist Tshisekedi to fight alongside FDLR, these murderers of our people here in this country, and to have Burundi on ethnic political basis decide to support Tshisekedi in whatever endeavor, including exactly doing what those murderers did to our people and what they are doing in Eastern Congo. They have displaced people, they have killed people, they have persecuted them on a daily basis for who they are. We have refugees here who have been here for the last 20 plus years, just dislocated from Congo and sent to Rwanda because they say these are ethnic Tutsis, therefore they belong to Rwanda, they don't belong there. And everybody is around. I don't know how many entities we have in Congo, honestly. We have MONUSC, we have SAMI DRC, we have mercenaries, we have Burundi, we have FDLR that has joined them. And everybody is there watching this thing, and we pretend we.
The first opportunity lost was the 2009 peace talks between government and M23, which were being mediated by Uganda, where they even signed that agreement. So the birth of M23 was a failure in implementation. Now, that aside, having seen that what you did has not paid, you have again, you are back to war. The opportunity offered by the EAC in deploying this force, that's why it's called interventionist, was to create an environment for political settlement. Again, His Excellency Tshisekedi wanted the statecraft to fight M23. And yet, really, as a region, our interest is peace settlement of these conflicts because we want trade with Eastern DRC.
After capturing Goma, there are now unconfirmed reports the M23 is headed for Bukavu, the capital of South Kivu. But how prepared and capable is the Congolese army to stop the onslaught? As witnessed in Goma, by the voluntary surrender of arms to the MONUSCO forces, there is little left of the Congolese government forces that have long relied on external forces from South Africa, Tanzania, Malawi, and numerous other mercenary armies to defend itself. It may not be long before the world sees more tactful withdrawals of Congolese forces from one corner to another, creating a kind of Tom and Jerry seek and hide scenario. The success of a war is most often determined by the motivation behind the war. Unlike the South African forces and other mercenary groups fighting for money alongside the Congolese army, the M23 rebels seem clear. They are fighting for their lives, children, and country.
Don't joke to M23, my bro. Don't joke. That is army for the people. Don't joke. You're fighting for the money. You're fighting for our life.
We are fighting for the noble reason, and we have the reason to fight. The reason is that we don't have a country. there is a risk that even we lose the country. We are fighting for Congo people, and our cause is for Congo people. We want Congolese people, refugees, to come down, come home, back home. We want Congolese to have food, like you in your country, you do.
Yeah.
We need Congolese children to go to school and go to school. We need to have health care and so on. You in your country, you have roads. In my country, once you reach the border, no road anymore. So are we going to continue like this? No state, failure of state, we will be in danger, even against you guys. So this is what we are to create the state and to give good life. Living together between communities, no exclusion, no discriminations. Those are the things that have pushed us to fight. And we are going to do from here to the west, mean Kinshasa, to liberate all the country against this man.
Lastly, what is the level of maturity of the M23 on the world stage? The M23 rebels seem to exhibit more political maturity by their handling of what would be political prisoners, allowing hundreds of Romanian mercenaries and Congolese forces surrender their arms to the MONUSCO forces, and facilitated their transfer to Rwanda, where they would finally return home. The actions of the M23 clearly indicate that they recognize the legitimacy of the United Nations force in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Additionally, their handling of surrendering Congolese forces sends a message across the divide that they are a more inclusive force. A sharp contrast with the government that reproaches all those on the opposing side, as it was recently the case that flooded social media with mass executions of gangs. A lot remains to be desired of the administration in Kinshasa in resolving the grievances of the M23. President Tshisekedi needs to own his responsibility and address the political problems surrounding the M23 rebels. The world may point fingers at Rwanda. But again, why would Rwanda, that is alleged to support the M23, be a safe haven for surrendering forces? Think about it. And leave us a comment, share and like the video, and do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until we meet again, we pray for peace in the Congo.